everyone. You are watching Eagle News, Washington, D.C. I am Sarah Nachman. Here are the stories from this side of the globe. Acting U.S. Attorney General Sally Yates defies President Trump on immigration order, gets fired by President Trump. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer disapproved of Trump's dismissal of Acting Attorney General Sally Yates. Thousands in New York City protest Trump's immigration order. Plus, Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz plans to hire 10,000 refugees after Trump's travel ban. Now for the details. Acting U.S. Attorney General Sally Yates, the U.S. federal government's top lawyer, defies President Donald Trump by saying the Justice Department would not defend new travel restrictions targeting 7 Muslim-majority nations because she was not convinced they were lawful. Hours later, she gets fired. Eliza Gonzalez-Manglikmot with the story.
President Donald Trump fired the federal government's top lawyer Sally Yates on Monday after she took the extraordinary rare step of defying the White House and refused to defend new travel restrictions targeting 7 Muslim-majority nations. Yates said late on Monday that the Justice Department would not defend in court Trump's directive that put a 120-day hold on allowing refugees into the country, an indefinite ban on refugees from Syria, and a 90-day ban on citizens from Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. Yates said she did not believe defending the order would be consistent with this institution's solemn obligation to always seek justice and stand for what is right. Hours later, she was fired. The White House said Yates has betrayed the Department of Justice by refusing to enforce a legal order designed to protect the citizens of the United States and portrayed her actions as political. Yates, an appointee of former Democratic President Barack Obama, was days away from being replaced by Trump's pick for the top spot at the Justice Department, Republican Senator Jeff Sessions, who is now awaiting Senate confirmation. The White House said in a statement, Ms. Yates is an Obama administration appointee who is weak on borders and very weak on illegal immigration. The White House also said that Dana Boente, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, would be acting U.S. Attorney General until Sessions is approved. In an interview with the Washington Post, Boente said that he would enforce the immigration order. There have only been a handful of instances in U.S. officials' history of top Justice Department publicly breaking with the White House. The most famous example was in 1973, when then Attorney General Elliot Richardson and his deputy resigned rather than obey President Richard Nixon's order to fire a special prosecutor investigating the Watergate scandal. The incident, which became known as the Saturday Night Massacre, was a public relations disaster and is seen as a turning point in Nixon's administration. For Eagle News, I am Eliza Gonzalez-Manglikmot, and I'm always one with 25.
Thank you, Eliza. U.S. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on Monday expressed his disapproval of President Donald Trump's dismissal of top federal government lawyer Sally Yates after she took the extraordinarily rare step of defying the White House and refused to defend new travel restrictions targeting 7 Muslim-majority nations.
Sally Yates, a person of great integrity who follows the law, was fired by the president. She was fired because she would not pursue the executive order on the belief that it was illegal, perhaps unconstitutional. It was a profile in courage. It was a brave act and the right act. And I hope the president and his people who are in the White House learn something from this. How can you run a country like this? How can you take a major order, major doing, and not check it out with your Homeland Security Secretary, with the Justice Department and the Attorney General? I would say, Mr. President, If this continues, this country has big trouble. We cannot have a Twitter presidency. We cannot have a presidency that thinks, oh, this sounds good, let's just go do it, and not think the consequences through. And most of all, we cannot have a presidency that doesn't understand the beauty and depth of America, in this case, when it comes to immigrants.
Yates said late on Monday that the Justice Department would not defend the order against court challenges, saying that she did not believe it would be consistent with its institution's solemn obligation to always seek justice and stand for what is right. Hours later, she was fired. The White House said Yates has betrayed the Department of Justice by refusing to enforce a legal order designed to protect the citizens of the United States, and portrayed her action as political. Trump has argued tougher vetting of immigration is needed to protect America from terror attacks, but critics complain that his order unfairly singles out Muslims and defiles America's historic reputation as a welcoming place for immigrants. Yates, an appointee of former Democratic President Barack Obama, was days away from being replaced by Trump's pick for the top spot at the Justice Department, Republican Senator Jeff Sessions, who is awaiting Senate confirmation. The White House said that Dana Boente, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, was sworn in at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and would be acting U.S. Attorney General until Sessions is approved. Boente said in an interview with the Washington Post that he would enforce the immigration order. Up next, thousands in New York City protest Trump's immigration order. Plus, Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz planned to hire 10,000 refugees after Trump's ban. Eagle News Washington, D.C. will be right back. Welcome back to Eagle News Washington, D.C. An estimated 10,000 people rally in New York City to voice outrage over President Donald Trump's executive order restricting entry into the country for travelers from 7 Muslim-majority nations. Abigail Mayo with the details.
In New York City on Sunday, a second wave of demonstrations followed spontaneous rallies that broke out at U.S. airports on Saturday as U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents began enforcing President Donald Trump's directive. The order, which bars admission of Syrian refugees and suspends travel to the United States from Syria, Iraq, Iran, and 4 other countries on national security grounds, has led to the detention or deportation of hundreds of people arriving at U.S. airports. Sunday's protests took place at Battery Park in Lower Manhattan, within sight of the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor, long a symbol of welcome to U.S. shores. The march, estimated to have grown to about 10,000 people, later began heading to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection office in Lower Manhattan. Trump defended the executive order in a statement on Sunday, saying the United States would resume issuing visas to all countries once secure policies were put in place over the next 90 days. For Eagle News, I am Abigail Mayo, and I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Abigail. Up next, Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz planned to hire 10,000 refugees after Trump's travel ban. Eagle News Washington, D.C. will be right back. Welcome back. You are still watching Eagle News Washington, D.C. Starbucks Corporation Chief Executive Officer Howard Schultz responds to President Trump's executive order banning refugees from certain countries by offering employment opportunities to those affected. Angela Mendez reports.
Starbucks Corporation Chief Executive Officer Howard Schultz said on Sunday, January 29, that the company plans to hire 10,000 refugees over 5 years in 75 countries, 2 days after President Donald Trump's executive order banning refugees from certain countries. Trump on Friday put a 4-month hold on allowing refugees into the United States and temporarily barred travelers from Syria and 6 other Muslim-majority countries, saying the moves would help protect Americans from terrorist attacks. The order sparked widespread international criticism, outrage from civil rights activists, and legal challenges. Starbucks, in a letter from Schultz, told its employees it would do everything possible to support affected workers. Schultz said the hiring efforts announced on Sunday would start in the United States by initially focusing on individuals who have served with U.S. troops as interpreters and support personnel in the various countries where the military has asked for such support. Schultz has been outspoken on various issues and has put Starbucks in the national spotlight, asking customers not to bring guns into stores and urging conversations on race relations. Schultz said on Sunday that if the Affordable Care Act is repealed and employees lose health care coverage, they would be able to return to health insurance through Starbucks. Trump and a Republican-controlled legislature are seeking to undo much of the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare. Schultz will step down as CEO in a few months to focus on new high-end coffee shops, handing the top job to Chief Operating Officer Kevin Johnson, a longtime technology executive. He will become executive chairman in April. Schultz also affirmed the country's commitment to trade with Mexico, another subject that has been front and center of Trump's campaign. For Eagle News, I am Angela Mendez, and I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Angela. That is today's Eagle News Washington, D.C. Join us again next time as we bring news that matters to you. Visit our website at www.eaglenews.ph. Follow us on Twitter at www.twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. I am Sarah Nackman, and I am 1 with 25.